the plan. I've been driving a manual transmission SL model with the smaller, higher revving engine so far. So now I'm going to jump into this R automatic model that you see right behind me, the blue one, and see what kind of changes have been made for the 2022 model year. I know they've further refined the automatic transmission. The engine makes like 203 horsepower, so, a substantial amount more. And I'm going to kind of revisit this because the very first Slingshot I ever had was an R automatic, but the 2020 automatic was a little rougher around the edges. So this is the most recent, most updated R automatic, and let's see how it does by comparison. Can I take a moment of appreciation for how good this blue looks, by the way? And with the new updated hood, I don't know if I mentioned that, but some of the more aggressive models get an updated hood with sort of more venting and scooping that's supposed to make the cabin cooler, and it definitely looks cooler. But I think that this blue model with the sort of matte and glossy gray, that just looks the business right here. So we just arrived at Crystal Cove after a long sort of stint in the R version with the automatic. Some takeaways from that. The automatic is noticeably improved, especially in downshifting. When you're coming to a stop and it's downshifting as you approach like a full stop, it is way smoother and more kind of intuitive than it was before. I will say upshifts in both modes are still pretty slow by kind of like, dual clutch, single clutch standards. They are improved though, and there is more of a difference in Slingshot mode. I think the real difference in Slingshot mode has to do with the throttle calibration. It feels more sensitive, more playful. It's noticeably better than it was in the 2021 model, where there didn't seem to be really a meaningful difference between the two modes. Now you get a much more playful throttle and more aggressive upshifts, especially at part throttle. At full throttle, foot to the floor, it doesn't seem to upshift really that much faster, but in like kind of mostly to the floor, it's definitely quicker. One of the things that you can't deny about the Slingshot, and I think this is true whether you've watched my previous videos, you're here for a review, or you're just curious about what the heck is a Slingshot, is how good looking these are, how unique they are, and how Polaris goes out of their way to like really make them feel special, to kind of customize them and match things. Like you can see the springs on the new hood. The 2022 models in the R have a new hood design, and you can see the springs through the hood and they're matched to the color of the paint. And those little details, like, they really matter. They make a big difference. They really kind of elevate the experience both aesthetically and, behind the wheel dynamically. And I really like the fact that they take the time to do things like that for the customers. And on that note, let me point out something else, and that's that Polaris cares about what people think. And I don't mean in a insecure kind of way. I mean in a serving the customer kind of way. One of the things that sort of stands out about this trip is that they're genuinely interested in what we have to say. What do we think about the Slingshot? And they've gone out of their way to tell us they're very interested in what Slingshot owners have to say. They're really listening to their community. They want to cultivate a sort of relationship with their community. They want this product to be a sort of central product in a gathering of like-minded people. And I think that really shows in the execution of the Slingshot as a sort of power sports toy, that it's not just a power sports toy, it's something that brings people together and that they can share and take part in. And the fact that they've grown as much as they have, and the fact that they've sort of spawned this new community that's very much like, Wrangler people or Corvette people, the fact that this community is growing at such a rapid pace, I think speaks to their attention to that community's needs. Guys, this is the exact type of vibe that the Slingshot is just made for. It's just made for this. Southern California, it's 60 degrees right now. It's a beautiful day in the canyons of Laguna Beach, which is just an epic location for this kind of stuff. And when you think about what is the purpose of having a Slingshot, this is the purpose. Literally driving through Laguna Beach, California, passing people in Lamborghini Uruses and Ferraris and, countless Mercedes, BMWs, and Teslas. And everybody looks and points and smiles and gives you the thumbs up and waves, from kids that I just passed a second ago on the sidewalk to people in their cars wondering what it is. I mean, there is no denying the allure of the Slingshot. Like, it is definitely capturing people's attention wherever it goes. And what better place to stand out from the crowd than right here in Southern California? This is the perfect vehicle for that.
Also, guys, you know me, I love my red and black, but this navy matte and kind of light gray blue color just, oh, it looks so good. My Auburn loving sister and brother-in-law are never gonna let me live this one down.
So after kind of living with the R for the second half of the day, I don't know about the added power. Like, yes, you definitely feel it, but I was so satisfied by the regular S model with the manual transmission, and that just might be my manual transmission bias. I mean, the power in the R is noticeable. You can tell that it's a more powerful variant. Do you necessarily need that extra power? I'm not so sure that you do, especially if you drive stick. Like I said, I'm being completely biased here. I really enjoyed driving the 5-speed manual base engine. I really did. It just felt like a Slingshot experience. This R is a much improved machine. It's got the better seats, they're grippier seats. I love the new revised hood bodywork where you can see the suspension and the tire through the fenders. That's just super cool. I think those kind of details are great on Slingshots. I don't know, I'm curious to know what you think. What do you think about the S versus the R? If you were going to buy a toy like this, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, ride safe, drive safe, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace. One more thing before I go. If you are thinking of getting a Slingshot and you cannot drive a manual transmission, the revisions to the automatic really have kind of elevated it, and I would 100% recommend it. It's already got an enormous take rate among first-time Slingshot buyers, but now more than ever, the automatic makes sense. I know, manual folks, I know. Look, if you can drive a stick, get the stick. It's so much more engaging and so much more fun to drive. You won't regret it. You won't be sorry. I promise. Tell him Jack sent you. But if you can't drive a stick, there really isn't a reason not to get the automatic anymore.